Welcome back to the Student Hub Live orientation for the School of Education, Childhood, Youth and Sport. We've had a fantastic day so far, and I know a lot of you are just joining us. So welcome to this session. It's live, it's interactive, you can chat to each other, you can fill in our interactive tools and let us know where you are, at what level you're studying, etc. And if you've got any questions, either talk to each other about those in the chat, or we can put those to our guests in the studio, and HJ and Sultana will be bringing those questions to us here and can also answer a lot of questions that you've got. How's everyone at home, HJ and Sultana?
Yeah, really good, excited. What have I got going on?
I think some people are starting, but Philippa's already, everyone else, Student Hub, a little behind. I always end up about a week behind. That's my thing. I think it's become a tradition with anything that I do, week behind, that's the rule. I don't know how to get out of it. So don't worry if you're a little bit behind. I'm always there as well. You can start a club or something. But it's actually quite great in the chat. We're talking about some of our journeys. So some people just started being on the board of governors from the school, volunteering, getting interested that way. I know Jane said she started off by volunteering, then became a teaching assistant, and now has all the way progressed to actually been teaching for a number of years now and using her qualification to do something a bit different. So we're all excited, and it's great to hear what other students have their experiences are as well, and perhaps they can assure us that being behind is
Absolutely normal.
it's normal.
It's absolutely fine.
That's it.
Excellent. Well, I have two students here who are going to tell us a little bit about their story. We've got Sarah and Anha. Thank you for joining us today. Sarah, you've got a lot on your plate.
A little bit, yeah.
Tell everyone what you're doing.
Okay, last year I did E102 and E103, and this year I'm doing E209 and E214. I'm a full-time mum of two small monsters, which it's a bit of a challenge. And I've also taken on the job of the faculty representative for the Students' Association. So that's also a very, very busy job as well. And I volunteer in my local primary school, doing Lego therapy and helping out with reading and times tables revision.
Wow. So we had somebody watching earlier who has a similar sort of workload to you, so I'm sure that they will really appreciate what you have to say. And your dad studied at the OU, didn't
Yes,
he? So
did,
you thought
yes.
that would be a good thing for you to do.
Yeah, he studied a long time ago, back in sort of 70s, 80s. And when because I missed out on going to a brick university because of ill health, I decided that actually now was a good time to do it. It fits in really, really well with my children. It fits in really well with my lifestyle now as well, which is great.
Brilliant. We've got lots of level 1 students watching at the moment, so that's fantastic. Anha, you have a job at the Open University. So we were talking earlier about what you could do with qualifications. You are the first intern employed at the OU, aren't you? Tell us about that and what's brought you through your studying journey with the school.
Yeah, of course. So I've actually graduated from the Open University with the Open Honours degree, and so my degrees were very diverse, and I just kind of did it to enjoy it, and it's as diverse as my role now, which is social media and working for Reading for Pleasure, and yes, it's really enjoyable. And you know, as a student I felt really welcome, and I felt really really supported, and it fit in with the studies fitted in with my life. And it's the same working for the Open University as well. They're really flexible, supportive, and yeah, and you know that everyone's just so lovely. And yes, and the campus here is really beautiful as well. So I think there might be some more internships coming up. So I'd advise everyone to look out for it, and you know, just get your foot in, and just do your best.
And you started your degree because you felt you weren't going anywhere with your career, and look at where you've ended up.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I never would have imagined that I'd be working at the Open University so soon after my degree, especially. But yeah, so I'm really happy.
Excellent. Now, I've got some areas I wanted to talk to you about because whilst you've both got very, very different stories, there are things that you've got a lot in common, and I'm sure that many of our other students at home will have these. The first one is balancing study with other commitments. How have you gone around doing that?
I think with me, it's very much about time management. And I, especially right at the beginning, I had an operation right at the beginning of my studies, which kind of took me out for a little while, so I got a little bit behind. So I knew that I needed to catch up. And with the planner, it tells you how long something's supposed to take, so it gives you a really good idea of how long that's going to take. So I used to write down at the beginning of each week how long everything was supposed to take, what I needed to do that week, what I needed to do with my children with school, what I needed to do with everything else, and then where I was going to study. And as I did it, I crossed it off, which was a lovely feeling. But yeah, it was all about, for me, all about time management to make sure that I fitted everything in.
Yeah. And how about you? And how were your friends and family with your studying?
Well, I mean, it's studying, you have to put it as your priority. So sometimes it might mean, you know, saying no to going out for dinner, or saying no to binge watching on Netflix, or like, you know, it's just...
Not just Netflix, but binge watching.
So it's just about putting it as your priority, really. And
did people understand that because it was your priority, but it may not have been other people's priorities? I know when I was studying, people didn't quite understand why I didn't want a lot of loud beery music and the occasional request for tea, and why I just wanted to be in my space on my own. Did other people understand that this was your priority?
I don't think so, no. They didn't understand, and I think they only truly understood it when they came to my graduation and they saw that, you know, it was real, that my degree was real, that the university was real.
Yes.
So obviously you're not going into the university every single day, and I think that was hard for them to understand that, you know, she's studying, so she needs her time. But I mean, it's just about, you know, putting your best into it and just kind of making those little sacrifices.
Yeah, because whilst you're studying, I mean, you have a full-time study load.
Yes.
So you are studying the same as my stepson, who is at university, going and doing lots of other things, and you have all of those other list of responsibilities that we spoke about earlier. But again, this is something as well in terms of the numbers of hours in the week. And one of the students earlier had said, and I wonder if you can sort of maybe pick up on this, she was saying, there's 38, I think, hours of directed study. It's not all adding up. How am I going to fit that time in? And, you know, what's sort of in there? Because we know that there's time for reflection, time for forums, time for other things. So all the tasks won't necessarily add up. And, of course, everyone reads at different paces as well.
Yeah.
What about fitting that time in?
I think it is just about going, well, I can fit 20 minutes in here, I can fit 20 minutes here. I was travelling here by train yesterday and I did 2 hours of study on the train. You know, so just fitting it in little blocks. And I know other friends of mine have their various commitments. They've always got their study stuff with them. And even if it's just 5 minutes at lunchtime, because you can use your phone, you can use your tablet, you can use your laptop, you know, so it's very portable and you can fit it in anywhere that you are. And I think it's the commitment to doing that that makes it work.
We spoke a lot about flexibility as being really, really good, but equally flexibility can be bad if you think, well, I don't have to do this, no one's sort of holding me to account, I can do what I want. How have you both worked with that flexibility that the OU offers, which is both a wonderful blessing and also can be a constraint?
Yeah, I think for me, it's the flexibility has helped me plan. I'm very much a planner, and when October half term happened just after I started and we were going away, and I was like, okay, so we're going somewhere that I can study, so I can fit in an hour in the morning, have time with my children, an hour in the evening, and I can more or less keep on track. But the other hand of it is, you know, it's so flexible. Everybody can say, well, you don't need to do it now, you can do it later. Whereas you have to be so disciplined with yourself. And I think that's something that a lot of students find is you have to be disciplined. And if you're not, then you do start getting more and more behind and more and behind and more and behind. Whereas if you stay on track, it does make it a lot better.
Yeah. HJ and Sultana, any advice that you or the audience have about time saving?
I've got a few. I mean, I work in the student support team, and we always get students calling up and advising that the study intensity that we just spoke about earlier on, studying 2 modules is really, really intense. But on the help centre, there's a little planner called Plan Your Time. So you can go onto there, put in what hours you're free or what hours you're available, and then it shows you on there to say how many credits you can pick up. So it says on there 30 credits, 60 credit, 120 credits on there. So I think that's really, really useful. So if you've got some time, go onto the help centre and just pop in Plan Your Time, and there's a calendar on there, which is really good.
Davin had some great advice as well. Say if you're falling behind, probably like me, constant state of being behind, the best thing to do is speak to your tutor or student support. There's either your tutor or student support, they're all there to help you and guide you with what you're doing. So yeah, speak to them. And we were talking about people studying on trains. Someone said earlier that their kids have lots of activities that they take them to. So while their kids are distracted, they get their laptop out.
Yeah.
But I know we've got a couple of questions as well. Some fantastic ones.
We do. I've got one here. It says, my confidence is extremely low. Would the guest students agree in saying that doing a degree with the Open University is a confident builder?
Yes, very, very much so. Very
Big
much
nod
so.
there.
Yeah, it's made a massive difference to my confidence. I'd lost a lot of confidence in who I was. Just being a mum, I know that's a massive job, but it was kind of, well, I'm just a mum, and it felt very rubbish. And due to my ill health, I also thought, I'm not worth very much. But actually doing this, it's given me that confidence that actually I am worth something. Mm-hmm. I am worth doing this for, and to the point that I've actually volunteered to do more and more, and I am loving it. And the confidence it's given me is fantastic.
Almost a sense of purpose, it sounds
Very
like.
much so, yes. Very much so.
How about for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, doing a degree itself is so hard, and when you go through it, you realise that it's not that hard as I imagined, because you're practicing, you're studying, you're increasing, you're making your skills better, you're refining your skills. So it's just about building on yourself, and that would naturally give you confidence.
No, absolutely. It's a long old struggle, isn't it? But I think it's all about setting realistic expectations and being kind to yourself along the way, knowing that you are doing something amazing, and it's that end goal. And with that in mind, I wonder, because Anna, you had a wonderful idea about staying motivated, and you've just had your graduation, and I know for many people they sort of picture that as their end goal. I'm doing this because that's what I want. And you suggested maybe making scrapbooks or motivational things, so that if you are feeling unconfident or that you can't do it, or that the time's just running away with you, you can really focus on your goal and keep motivated.
Absolutely, yeah. So I made a scrapbook for my final year of study, where I just put motivational quotes in there. I put my TMA feedback in there. I put, anything. So, every week or every 2 weeks, I'd have a new quote and try and remember that.
Yeah.
So my favourite quote was, "If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand." That was my favourite quote. And so just doing little things like that. You just have to stay motivated as well, by just reminding yourself. Use positive self-talk as well. So just, as you said, be kind to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally, our next session is about tutors and tutorials. As students, how have you experienced tutors and tutorials, very briefly?
I've loved my tutors. They've been absolutely fantastic. A great support for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive support. And the tutorials were the best thing that I did. The face-to-face tutorials I found very important for meeting other students and having easier discussions. The Adobe Connect tutorials also really good because I could fit them in with my lifestyle. Yeah. So I found them really, really useful, and very important.
What about you, Anna?
Yeah, I agree with Sarah. The tutorials are amazing, and just remember that the tutors are there to help you, and they just want the best for you. So keep that in mind, and just go to the tutorials or watch the recorded sessions, and yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much. That's been really, really inspiring, and I hope that's given you at home a lot of confidence that you can do it, and that there are other students here who've been working through very, very similar things to you. Well, we're going to show you a video from another student now. This one's going to be a video from Nonzi, and then I have Isabel and Kate in the studio, and we're going to be talking about tutors and tutorials. Keep those questions coming through. We'll put as many of them to our guests as we possibly can. I'll be back here in 5 minutes. See you then.